Raised in a devout Christian household with a pastor father and a dedicated schoolteacher mother, Jake was a promising young man. His faith was the cornerstone of his life, guiding his choices and shaping his character. After graduating with an accounting degree from a prestigious Christian college, he landed a coveted position at a renowned global corporation. Initially, Jake thrived in his role, his strong work ethic and moral compass earning him recognition and promotions. However, as he climbed the corporate ladder, a subtle shift began to occur. The allure of wealth and power started to eclipse his faith. He found himself drawn to a lavish lifestyle, indulging in expensive luxuries and fleeting pleasures. To fuel his extravagant lifestyle, Jake began to compromise his integrity. He manipulated accounts, embezzled funds, and justified his actions with the promise of future repentance. The more he indulged, the deeper he sank into a cycle of deceit and self-destruction. His conscience, once his guiding light, grew increasingly muted. The whispers of guilt were drowned out by the noise of his desires. He rationalized his actions, convinced that he could control the situation. But as the stakes grew higher, so did the risks. When his supervisor Dan confronted him about the irregularities in the accounts, Jake, instead of owning up to his mistakes, turned the tables, accusing his superior of wrongdoing. This audacious move not only tarnished Dan's reputation, but also led to his termination. Emboldened by his success in evading consequences, Jake continued his fraudulent activities, growing increasingly reckless. Eventually, his luck ran out. The authorities caught up with him, and he was forced to face the harsh reality of his actions. The once promising young man, now a convicted criminal, lost everything: his job, his reputation, his friends, his lovers. All his material possessions, including posh cars, had to be sold. The public humiliation was devastating, and the weight of his sins was unbearable. As he faced the consequences of his choices, Daniel was forced to confront the emptiness of his life. He had traded his integrity for fleeting pleasures, only to find himself utterly alone and broken. The once promising accountant, now a disgraced man, found himself back in his childhood home. The familiar scent of freshly baked bread and the soft hum of the old radio offered little comfort. The weight of his sins pressed down upon him, a heavy burden he couldn't shake. As days turned into weeks, he began to find comfort in solitude. He spent hours poring over the Bible, seeking solace and understanding. A verse, "For the Lord is a compassionate and gracious God, slow to anger, abounding in love and faithfulness." Exodus 34 verse 6 resonated deeply. He realized that God's love was boundless, even for someone like him. With renewed hope, he started seeking opportunities to make amends. He volunteered at a local homeless shelter, sharing meals and offering a listening ear. The gratitude in the eyes of those he helped filled him with a sense of purpose. He also began to rebuild his relationship with his parents, seeking their forgiveness and guidance. One day, while volunteering at the shelter, he met a young man struggling with addiction. Recognizing the familiar signs of despair, he shared his own story, offering hope and encouragement. The young man listened intently, and a bond was formed. Through their shared experiences, they found strength and support. The young man became his mentee, hanging on to his every word. As time went on, the disgraced accountant became known for his humility, compassion, and unwavering faith. He was invited to speak at youth groups and church services, sharing his testimony as a cautionary tale and a testament to God's grace. He used his past mistakes to inspire others to turn away from sin and embrace a life of righteousness. He eventually found work as an accountant at a small, local business. Though the salary was modest, he was grateful for the opportunity to use his skills for good. He also began to invest his time and energy into mentoring young people, guiding them on a path of integrity and faith. The man who was once lost in the mire of sin had emerged as a beacon of hope, a living example of God's transformative power. He had found redemption not through his own efforts,